Breakfast biscuit heaven in San Francisco.
It's so fantastically buttery.
Plant-forward fine dining in Burlingame.
I said, what? It's really unbelievable.
And contemporary Peruvian plates in Oakland.
You realize, holy cow, it's all gone.
Just ahead on Check Please Bay Area. It's like eating the top of the muffin.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. Joining me at the Check Please table today are Clean Energy Program Manager Manali Gokhale, plant business owner Lisa Fiorentinos, and high school teacher Chris Carroll. Welcome, everyone. Ready for a great show?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Manali's breakfast spot is proof positive that good things come in small packages. It's a tiny bakery that packs big flavors into hot, buttery, build-your-own biscuit sandwiches. Located in San Francisco's Mission District, it's Kahnfections.
I think a bakery can really be a community gathering spot. It is happy food.
Nobody comes into a bakery in a bad mood, or if they do, they tend to leave in a much better mood. Kahnfections is kind of old school American meets French. Our bestseller, carrot cake, was kind of the impetus behind what was going to be at Kahnfections. But then when I went to pastry school, I really fell in love with croissants and making them, and we do 10 different varieties. Our scones are baked with a house-made scone glaze, just that finishing touch that put it right over the top.
It's really hard to find a good breakfast sandwich, particularly on a buttermilk biscuit, and that's kind of the thing we've become known for.
We make our eggs fresh to order in a kind of French omelet style so that it takes on a little bit of a souffle-like texture.
Each breakfast sandwich roughly gets about 1.5 eggs.
I think the key to a good biscuit is not overworking the dough and doing it by hand. We make about 1,200 biscuits every week.
It's 50,000 biscuits a year.
That's a lot of biscuits. That's a lot of butter. Some of our most loyal customers are the 4-legged variety.
Yeah, we do have house-made dog biscuits.
People tell us that their dogs bring them to the bakery.
We do like the furry friends. We have people who come by, every day. This is their morning coffee spot.
Vanilla latte?
And they'll grab a table and they'll be out there for an hour and a half, and we love that. We've been approached, do you want to do like a ghost kitchen where you can make your sandwiches and we'll deliver them out everywhere? It's like, no, we don't want to do that. We like to see people eat the food and get satisfaction out of it. We get satisfaction out of them getting satisfaction.
We just really love that we've become part of these people's lives. We appreciate them so much, and they appreciate us.
So Manali, when you go for breakfast, do you tend towards the sweet or the savory or a mixture?
Ideally, I really like to have both. And they actually have a pretty wide variety of your classic pastries, croissants, muffins, scones. But what made me really fall in love with it is their breakfast sandwich. It's an egg and cheese on a biscuit, but this is no ordinary biscuit. It's almost indescribable, but I'm gonna try. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's so fantastically buttery, and also really generously sized. The other thing I really like about it is that it's totally customizable.
Bacon and egg?
I usually go for their dill Swiss and scallion biscuit. Then I'll get cheddar cheese, and then for the spread, I go back and forth between either the garlic aioli or the lemon aioli. I think they both pack a lot of flavor. Just depends what I'm feeling that day.
Depends if you're kissing anybody.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm curious, did you guys get the sandwich when you guys wanted?
You gotta have a biscuit.
I didn't get the sandwich, but I must have ordered like 5 biscuits and 3 of the scones, and my favorite was the bacon-cheddar-scallion. It was unbelievable. I don't usually have bacon. It was delicious. It was bready with without being over chewy. Just absolutely delicious.
What about you?
100% the biscuit sandwich. I got the traditional buttermilk biscuit with egg, added bacon with the garlic spread. And there are hamburgers that are smaller than this biscuit sandwich. And I think for me, what is super key about that is just how fluffy and light and delicious that egg was. And by the way, I feel like I'm a bacon connoisseur. The bacon there was particularly thick and crispy. Absolutely fantastic. I could tell that I was eating at a wonderful place just by virtue of sitting next to these two gentlemen who got their sandwiches, opened up their bags, and made this guttural noise. It wasn't a word. It was sort of like a grunt, and I heard nothing from these guys for like 5-6 minutes.
I totally sympathize with those cavemen because the sandwiches come wrapped in foil, and it just feels like you're unwrapping a present. Like you tear it open, it's hot, it's fresh out the oven, absolutely delicious.
We went back the next day just to say how wonderful this place was. We went back the next day.
That is a true testament, right?
Absolutely,
That makes me so
absolutely.
happy.
Yeah.
They also have a mushroom Gruyere croissant. It's a square croissant, and the crust is just perfectly flaky, like you want a croissant to be, really buttery, with a very generous amount of filling in the middle. And the mushroom and Gruyere is such a great combination. They also have a cute little individual quiche of the day, and the crust is nice and thin, but still really flaky and buttery, so you get a good ratio of filling to crust, and the filling is really custardy, soft, and they have a different flavor every day, so you never know what you're going to get, but I haven't gone wrong so far.
The weekends is where you can get a cinnamon roll, and the icing that is on top of that cinnamon roll is baseball-like. It's almost the size of a baseball itself, on top of this incredibly rich cinnamon roll.
Are you an unwinder of cinnamon rolls?
No, knife through the middle, knife through the middle of that. I want all of those flavors all at once. The middle of that bun, the icing that's on top, all in one bite.
It's delicious.
I had the sour cherry almond scone, and what I love about it, I don't like things that are like super sweet, and this was just the right touch of savory and sweet. There was a pop of almond in it.
Right.
The cherries had like a nice chew to them, and it was just a nice crumbly scone.
Now, what did you get to drink with it? Are you a coffee drinker?
I am a coffee drinker. I got a delicious iced cafe latte with oat milk.
Okay.
Very good.
I'm actually not a big coffee drinker, but they have a really good European-style hot chocolate. Very decadent. It's really thick, super chocolatey. It's sweet, but not too sweet, so the richness isn't overwhelming. It's still manageable, and yeah, delicious on a cold day.
Absolutely.
They have a pain au chocolat there. I loved the chocolate that was inside of it. There was a ton of it.
Right.
I think the downfall of those kinds of pastries is that there's not enough chocolate. At Kahnfections, they really do ensure that you get an incredible bite of chocolate with every bite of the pain au chocolat that you have.
They also have these fantastic mini cupcakes. My favorite is their carrot cake one. A great balance of frosting to cake, which I feel is very important for a cupcake, and just packed full of raisins and spices, super moist, really delicious, and just a tiny little bite, so you know, if you're already really full from your sandwich, you're not gonna put things over the top.
I think one thing to note is there is a place to sit inside, but other than that, if you want to dine there, you are sitting outside, and on the morning that we went, it was a little bit chilly. So I had a tall cup of coffee. They had heavy cream, which is how I take my coffee, and it was perfect. As a matter of fact, they were kind enough to top it off a little bit when the breakfast sandwich arrived. Just another reason why this is a place I will return to again and again.
Right.
I would definitely go back. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. If you would like to try Kahnfections, it's located on 20th Street in San Francisco, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $20. Lisa's passion is plant-focused interior design. She loves to fill homes and workspaces with living art. So it's no wonder her favorite restaurant has an equally plant-centric approach. Located in downtown Burlingame, it's Twelvemonth.
I think a lot of people have this general notion of vegan cuisine sort of being bland and just a lot of vegetables. When I set out to create Twelvemonth, I really wanted to create a destination for all of life's occasions where the food was sort of incidentally plant-based. You know, it's delicious, nutritious, and hey, it's all plants. I love our cuisine. It's sort of global fusion through a California lens. I think a lot about sustainability. We really focus on micro-seasonal food and just truly unlock every flavor. This features Brentwood corn. It was picked this morning. We're not the type of place that makes a tomato taste like fish. the type of place that makes you say, that's the best tomato I ever had in my life. Other important aspects of sustainability come down to trying to use every part of everything, as well as reuse components that other places might consider, used up. My favorite item on the menu is our bean stew. I intend to never, ever, ever take it off the menu.
Good, buddy? I love it.
It's a very long cooking process, but lots of love and thought along the way. If you're thoughtful at every step from your broth to the finish, you can just infuse tons of flavor. We have a beautiful bar that has 3 lovely private rooms off them. And then our main dining room is just this huge, glorious space. Another thing I love about the space is actually the acoustics. There's not as much echoing or loudness as you might expect, but you can still have an intimate dinner with whoever. I hope when people experience 12-month, it changes their opinion of vegan cuisine, so they realize that plant-based food can be delicious. My favorite review is, I'm an omnivore, but I love this place.
So, Lisa, it's interesting that we're getting, I think, more and more restaurants that are solely plant-focused and plant-forward. How did you discover this spot?
So a friend of mine called me because I had been plant-based for a while, and she said, have you been to that new place, 12-month, in Burlingame? And I said, no, what? And I immediately made a reservation and went over there. It is fantastic.
What do you start with a menu of that size?
Our go-to is definitely the bean stew. It's in a tomato broth. It's got some kale and other spices, and focaccia, which, oh my God, just melts in your mouth. So it gives you the impression that you're eating beef, but it's not. There's nothing. It's all plant-based. It's really unbelievable.
We also started with the bean stew, and can I just say, from the first bite, I was transported to another world. It was amazing. And I don't eat a lot of meat, so maybe I'm not the best person to say this, but this tastes really meaty. It's like very smoky. It has this really deep, rich flavor. This is so much more than just a pot of beans. There's so much more has gone into this to make it taste so incredible.
I really want to highlight their breaded mushrooms, very lightly breaded, dusted with a little bit of chili powder, and the dip that it comes with, very similar to an aioli, with a bit of spice, not too much heat, but maybe a few seconds after your first or second bite. The mushrooms are an absolute don't miss out because it was incredible.
We got the panzanella alla puttanesca. First of all, I love a bread-based salad. You really can't go wrong there. But it's focaccia and a lot of fresh tomato, and somehow the focaccia really absorbs all the delicious flavors and juice from the tomato, but still stays really crisp. And it has these crispy capers and pickled cucumbers in it, so you just have all these different bursts of flavor and different textures. It's just this really fresh-tasting salad.
I go for the charred cabbage salad. It's, of course, extremely healthy. It's got a nice little bite to it. The texture of it is great. The spice of it is really good. Did you try that?
I didn't, but I had what's called the BBQ, the barbecue plate, which meat eater from the Midwest. I know what I think I'm looking at, but it is actually the plate of lentils, and it comes with a barbecue sauce paired with some greens and some pears. And for me, the very first bite was a bit unique. Certainly, because I know what
this is barbecue.
It's not barbecue. By the second and third bite, I was eating just this incredible dish.
As one of our entrees, we shared the corn pasta, which was amazing. It had so much fresh corn flavor. The sauce was so flavorful, and you had a lot in every bite. And there was this coconut feta on top, which added a little bit of extra flavor. They also had these Cajun corn cracklins over the top, which added a little bit of extra crunch and flavor to the dish. It was delicious.
My neighbor had the Japanese curry tofu served with rice, and the server comes out and pours the curry on top of the pieces of tofu. A little bit spicy, but certainly not something that would turn people off. It was a G-rated curry, as it were. But again, a completely unique dish, and it made me forget that I was at a plant-based restaurant.
I had the not paella, which was like paella, but not. It's actually just sauerkraut, which is the rice that's like at the bottom of the pan and gets really crispy.
It's the best part.
It's the best part, and they only have that in the dish. They just get rid of all the rest of it.
It's like eating the top of the muffin.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then it had really colorful sauces. It was a broccoli mayo and a romesco sauce. It had this like red and green going on, and had lots of veggies in it. It was super crispy and just delicious. I'd never seen anything like that before. I was really impressed.
And did you have anything to sip alongside your meal?
I did. The flour spritz is delicious, non-alcoholic elderflower, butterfly pea flour, some lemon and club soda. Absolutely so refreshing, even actually in the winter.
I like that.
I had a drink called the Garden Party, which is made with a little bit of sparkling water, but flavors of cucumber and mint and some apple cider vinegar. Extremely refreshing. So for someone who doesn't consume alcohol, this was a great beverage.
All right, more food. What else did you have?
Dessert. We have got to talk about the dessert. The chocolate dessert actually comes in a little flower pot, near and dear to my heart, and a little shovel. You can't, like, we are all grabbing for it. It's quite rich and dense and absolutely delicious.
And creatively presented.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
We also got the toasted red miso cake, which was a little bit on the salty side for me, but still delicious, really unique flavors. And it came with this berry coulis, which was a really great way to kind of balance out the miso.
I didn't have room for dessert. I will have to go back to try some of these because it sounds incredible, but it also goes to show just how great the meal itself was because I was so satisfied that I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I thought each dish was so creative, really things I hadn't tried before, and I would definitely recommend it to friends and family.
All right. If you would like to try 12-month, it's located on Lorton Avenue in Burlingame, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $75. Chris is a big meat and potatoes guy, and he's now found a Peruvian take on that classic combination that he can't get enough of. Anytime he's craving a savory lomo saltado, he heads to Oakland's Rockridge neighborhood, home to Pucquio.
I'm making the dressing for the potato for your next course. The flavors of Peru are limitless. There are different regions. There's a coast, there's sea, there's land, there's highlands. As a Peruvian and as a cook, we want to send a message to the people and wanted to introduce them to our culture. The kitchen of Pucquio tries to evoke all the flavors from Peru, from most of the staple dishes that we have there, but since we're in California, we add an additional twist to it. A good example of that will be the tacu-tacu de mariscos, our interpretation of a classic Peruvian dish, but made completely different with beurre blanc on it and different elements that we get from our stash in California, you know. One of the most representative dishes in our cuisine is the cebiche, without a doubt. It's a ritual. The Mochicas probably were the first humans to start fishing and marinate raw fish. We admire and appreciate more about the freshness of the fish itself and how the nuances of that fish are brought by combining with the spice and citrus. One of our desserts is called bombitas de carretilla. It brings me a lot of memories from my childhood in every aspect. Similar to a vignette, but we stuff it with fermented sweet potato and dulce de leche. My favorite item on the menu is every single one of them. They're like my kids. I might have a favorite, I won't tell you. The name of the restaurant, Pucquio, is Quechua for spring water. And for us, it's a reflection of something pure and transparent, which is our mission to our community. Hello, hello! I really hope they feel touched, satisfied, happy, and raving about this restaurant.
So, Chris, talk about what's unique about this space, right? A very intimate dining room and that open sort of kitchen feel.
For sure. One thing about Pucquio that I love is that the interior seats about 18 people. It is very small.
You know where to find me.
And there are 4 seats at the pass where you can sit and watch the chef and the sous chef work their magic.
So what do you get when you walk in that door and you start smelling all that food?
The first thing we have is the ceviche de clasico. This dish is made with a wonderfully flavored rockfish. It sits on a bed of greens with some red onions and Peruvian nuts that give every bite that you have just a little bit of crunch, a little bit of texture. They serve this dish with a relatively large spoon. But for me, because I think lifting the plate and drinking from it is a bit rude, I can at least scoop some of that citric juice and just sort of finish my ceviche with that, which is a great way to end that particular starter.
We also started with the ceviche de pescado, and it was amazing. And I especially loved how the marinade is, as you said, very, very acidic. I felt the sweet potato really balanced that out and made it overall a really delicious dish.
Did you use the big spoon too?
I did use the big spoon to get the extra juice. And the Peruvian corn is so fun. I've never seen corn kernels that big before, but it really adds that extra bite and fun texture.
So actually, I just want to jump in and talk about Kevin, who was actually our welcome wagon when we first got there. He is exceptional.
This is coming from Susanville.
Describing everything, because it was one of my first times having Peruvian cuisine. So my appetizer was the ceviche de truje, which actually had a little bit of skin. It had fennel, yucca, and a little bit of caviar. And I loved, there was a lot of acidity to it, but it was a combination of like the lemon and lime and some of the green leaves, which made it extremely tasty.
What about you, Manali?
We got 2 entrees. So one of them was the arroz de mariscos, which was a Peruvian take on paella. Delicious. It had Gulf prawn, squid, and rockfish in it. And the arroz, the rice, had squid ink in it as well. So it was super creamy. It had that fun, you know, dark black color that you could get with squid ink. Really incredible. And again, it had that Peruvian corn in it that I'm just totally obsessed with now.
I mean, Kevin actually explained that there are 84 types of corn in Peru.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Our second one, we got the taku taku de mariscos, which was more of a rice and beans dish. They sound very similar, both like rice with different types of seafood, but very different in terms of the flavor. The rice and beans were cooked so perfectly, the beans were really tender, and it came with this beer vert, which was this very herbaceous green sauce that was also very creamy and went great with the very fresh seafood that was served with it.
So we also had the chupa de camarones, which is, it's like a cross between like a shrimp bisque and a shrimp chowder, and it comes with like a poached egg, it comes with some rice, and it's a complex taste. It's delicious. Don't miss that.
All right, from the ceviche, what's next?
It is definitely a meat-centric, protein-centric restaurant. And so the lomo saltado is a marinated steak served with steak fries, white rice, some marinated tomatoes and onions. And if you wish, you can get a fried egg on top of the rice. So you can have all these various flavors in each bite that you have of the lomo saltado, and then you realize, holy cow, it's all gone.
This isn't just steak and potatoes.
Absolutely not.
Any other main dishes to try?
Yes. The adobo de chancho is a pork dish that when you are served this dish, Kevin will bring you your silverware, which is a fork and a spoon. Rarely, if ever, have I gone to a restaurant where there is no knife, because the pork is so soft and tender that you use the spoon with the fork to break it apart, and then it's paired with these braised beans, small pieces of pork belly, and red onions that create this multi-textural bite, and it's melt in your mouth pork, and incredible dish. They have a beverage called a maracuya, which is a passion fruit drink. And that, to me, is a sipping drink that you can enjoy throughout the entire meal. I say that as someone who often gets 2 with every dining experience. But it's fantastically sweet and rich, as a beverage can be.
Yeah, I had the Spritz del Dia, which I guess was kind of an aperitivo of the day. Delicious. Had a nice flavor. It was very light, refreshing, and went well with the meal.
So we wanted to have a Chardonnay, which Kevin said they don't carry, and he made a recommendation, and it was such an amazing recommendation. I want to say it's called a rebollado. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. We ended up having 2 bottles. That's how good it was.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Can't remember the name after the first.
Right.
All right, desserts.
We got the bombitas, which were these little donut holes. They were so fresh, super hot. They were filled with dulce de leche and then came with a pisco creme anglaise, which was great because it had just a little bit of sour to kind of cut through the sweetness of the donuts.
That sounds like a must-have dessert.
Yes,
Any dessert?
that was my must-have dessert as well. Like the 4 of us split that.
So would you go back again?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It was an interesting experience where it felt like a very upscale experience, but at the same time, I felt like I was in someone's home. It's hard to balance those 2 things.
Quite a passion project.
Absolutely.
All right, if you would like to try Pucquio, it's located on College Avenue in Oakland's Rockridge neighborhood. The average tab per person without drinks is around $45. Looking for more Bay Area bites you've just got to try? Check out Cecilia Tries It online at kqed.org/checkplease. I have to thank my great guests on this week's show, Manali Gokhale, lover of the hot buttermilk biscuits at Kahnfections in San Francisco, Lisa Fiorentinos, who savors every drop of bean stew at 12-month in Burlingame, and Chris Carroll, who adores the adobo de chancho at Pucquio in Oakland. Join us next time when 3 more guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by serving the entire Bay Area since 1968. Water Heaters Only specializes in water heater repair and replacement. Learn more at waterheatersonly.com. The Bay Area airport that's close and reliable. iFlyOAK.com. Graham's Port has been family-owned and operated for over 200 years. Available at vintage and finewines.com or your local fine wine retailer.
We just really enjoy doing whatever we can to make people happy. We usually have at least 2 cakes in the pastry case, mini cupcakes, mini tarts, the typical cookies and brownies and things like that. I really enjoy watching people enjoy their food.
This sandwich is so good.
That's what does it for me.
I'm gonna do that whole thing one bite. One bite's a little much, actually.